guys. All right, so we are going to start our first math lesson for week 1. Okay, so this is going to follow along with your telling time packet that you got. It won't go along with the fluency packet that you got, and I expect you to try to work on that at least every couple of days, at least, to just keep the fluency up. And I apologize for the lighting in here. It's a little bit goofy. It's getting dark out, and the lights in here aren't very nice. So, all right. So what we're going to talk about today is telling time to the hour, okay? So if you weren't with us over the summer, that means it's like 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, okay? We're not going to say anything with a 30 or any of the minutes in between. It's just going to be to the hour, okay? And I'm going to try to get a little clock too that you can show you to do that, okay? So right now, what we're going to do, the first couple of days, we'll be going over to the hour, then we'll go to the half hour, all right? All right, so I'm going to share the screen now so that you can be able to see what I am looking at. Okay, so telling time to the hour, all right? So we're going to tell and write time in hours and half hours, but today's just going to be in hours using analog and digital clocks, okay? All right, so the first thing we're going to look at is why is it important to learn how to tell time, okay? So why would you need to be able to tell time? Think about that for just a minute. I already got one. I would probably be late to everything. Okay, so I need a clock to be able to tell me when I need to wake up, when I need to leave the house, when I need to go pick my daughter up, any of those things. Can you guys think of anything else? Ooh. What about when you're cooking? Why is it important? Because if you didn't put the timer on or look at the clock, you'd burn everything, right? Okay. So those are some good examples, okay? All right, so we're not gonna watch that. So now we're gonna look at what time is it? So first, let's talk about the parts of the clock. And again, I'll get a nice big clock to be able to show you guys in a different video. Okay, so if you look on each clock right here, you'll be able to see that there is a minute hand, which is the longer one in each picture. Okay, we'll go through that. And then there's the shorter hand, which is the hour hand. The hour hand is almost always pointing to the hour. If not, then it'll come right before, right after. And I'll talk about that at another time. Okay, right now we're just gonna look when it's straight on 2 numbers, okay? So today we're going to look at when the minute hand, which is the longer one, okay, is just on the 12, okay? So the parts of the clock. Here's my clock, okay? And I know it talks about that in the packet. So there's 12 numbers, okay? So it starts with 12, okay? But it's going to go through the numbers. So we'd say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay? And that changes sometimes when we're talking about if it's o'clock or anything like that. I'll get into that more later. Okay. So your minute hand, when we're talking about just this down here, so let's look down here. We have, this is how we write it. We have a number, okay? We write 2 little dots, okay? And then we put the number. So it's the colon sign, and then we put the number, okay? So whenever it ends in 00, we're gonna say what? O'clock. Okay, so before we start looking at these clocks, let's just look for a second at these numbers. So what time is it? Let's look at this first one. So remember I said if it ends in 00, it's gonna always say o'clock. So let's look. This is the number 2, so it would be 2 o'clock. Okay, 2 o'clock. The next one, we'd say, what number is that? 12, so it'd be 12 o'clock. 12 o'clock. The next one, this is the number 10, so it's going to be 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock. What's the last one going to be? Good. It's a 3, so it'd be 3 o'clock. Okay? So now, remember, this is only when we're looking at the hours, okay? So let's look up here. Remember, so our shorthand, so in each one, I'm going to highlight, or I'll draw. Let's draw in, how about red? This right here is my shorter, oops. This right here is my shorter hand, okay? So right there's my shorter hand. So that's going to point to where it is. So in this instance, I'm circling it, okay? So it's 3. The shorter hand's pointing to the 3, okay? Your minute hand is the long one. When we're talking about to the hour or to o'clock, it's always going to point to the 12. Look at each clock that I'm showing you. Something's always pointing to the 12. The long one's pointing to the 12. Okay, so let's look at this first one, okay? The shorthand is the hour, so that's 3. So I'm going to write down the number 3, okay? Then I'm going to put those 2 dots. Since it's pointing to the 12, I'm going to say o'clock. So I'm going to put 0, 0. Okay, so 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock. And I'll show you more while we have 0, 0. And that's going to get into place value as well. Okay, so 3 o'clock. Okay, let's look at the next one. The shorthand is pointing to the 10. And remember, we're talking about o'clock. It's going to point to the 12. Okay, so what number is it pointing to? The hour. That's right, 10. So 10, put the dots. Remember, it's pointing to the 12, so we're going to say o'clock, which is 0, 0. So 10 o'clock. Okay? Here, I'll erase this top part so you can see it a little bit better. Okay? Same with this one. Okay, let's look at the next one. The shorthand, they actually have it labeled. That's in red. Okay? The short or hour hand is pointing to the 2. Okay? 2. Oh, it's pointing to the 12 again. So we say o'clock. So let's write it down here. 2. There's my dots. Then I have to write o'clock, which is 0, 0. Okay? And we'll talk about the hours and then the minutes later on because this is full of minutes as well. Okay, so if you look, each clock has 12 hours. 12 hours, 12 hours, 12 hours. Okay, let's look at the next one. I'll erase that. Okay, this one's our tricky one. Where's the hour hand? I don't think it disappeared. I think it's actually right there underneath. Okay, so we have 12 o'clock. Why did I say that? Because the hour hand, which is the shorter one, is pointing. We'll do it like that. And then the longer one is kind of right on top, pointing there. So that's what it would look like. Okay, so the hour is pointing to the 12. And then the minute hand is on the zeros, okay? And I'll show you more of that later. So let's see if we can connect these. Let's look down here. This says 2 o'clock. Which one of these clocks says 2 o'clock? Not that one. That's the 3 o'clock. That's the 10 o'clock. Oh, look, that one's pointing to 2 o'clock. There we go. So, whoops. Joe says draw a line. My apologies. I'll draw a line. There's that one. What about this next one? That's the number 12. 12 o'clock. Which one of these? So 3 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 12 o'clock. There we go. So let's match it. All right, let's look at the next one. All right, this says the number 10. 10 and our minutes are 0, so we say o'clock. 10 o'clock. Let's see, that one says 3 o'clock. Oh, there it is, 10 o'clock. All right, our last one. What number is that? That's a 3. So we have 3 o'clock. All right, so let's match it up to the 3 o'clock, and that's what it would look like. Okay? All right. So we're going to do, I think, more of this at another time, and I'll show you more with a, actually, let's just see this. All right. Oh, that's a weird one. All right, so let's just do the first 4 together. Okay? So it looks like we have our hand is in the white right there, if you see where I'm pointing. The minute hand, okay, so there's where our zeros would be, 0, 0. And I'll talk more about the minutes another time. So there's our 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, and 0, 0. Okay? Let's look at this first one. The shorter hand, or the hour hand, is pointing to the 1. So it would be 1 o'clock. The hour goes there and the minutes go there. Let's look at the next one. Where is the hour hand pointing to? What number is that? That's a 5. Okay, so we're at 5, and our minute hand is pointing to the 12, so that's 0, 0, that's o'clock, so 5 o'clock. Let's look at the next one. Our hour hand is pointing to the 4. So 4. And then 0, 0. So 4 o'clock. Our next one, let's look. The short hour hand is pointing to 3. So that would be 3 o'clock. Okay? All right, I know it's a bit confusing, and I'll have a clock hopefully next time, and that will make a little bit more sense when I'm talking about the hours and the minutes, okay? All right, so this will help you through your first couple pages, and I know the first couple pages just want you to get used to what a clock looks like, and it talks about the 12 hours on the face of the clock, okay? All right, so I will be talking to you guys tomorrow at our Zoom meeting. All right, you guys have a good night. All right, bye-bye.